I'll never forget the look in my wife's eye, in that special gaze, in her beautiful eyes, and the sound of her voice as she said, "You never listen to me." Has that ever happened to you, Madam Toastmaster? Fellow Toastmasters, most welcome guests. You never listen to me. You know what the next line is, of course. Of course I was listening to you. And then what does she say? Then what did I say? I say, you've been there. You were just saying that I never take you out anywhere. Does repeating back what they just said ever work? Me neither. There's a difference between listening and hearing. As the Simon Garfunkel song said, people hearing without listening. There's a big difference between the words and what's underneath. It took me a long time to learn that. Because when I hear, "You never take me anywhere," I tend to get defensive. I just took you to the movies and a dinner last year. So how do you deal with that? I took a class in assertiveness training. Don't put up with anything. So the next time I heard, "You never take me anywhere," I said, "Well, you know, if you made a little more money, then we can afford to go out." Have you ever noticed how uncomfortable a couch is when you're trying to sleep on it? That didn't seem to work. I joined Toastmasters. And one of the wonderful things about Toastmasters is they learn to give great feedback. So the next time I heard, "You never take me anywhere," I said, "I really appreciate the vocal variety. Your gestures were very effective, but it would have been improved if you had a clear opening, body, and conclusion. But overall, I really enjoyed the rant, and I look forward to hearing the next one." The couch and I were getting to be good friends. That didn't work. I finally took a class in how to listen. A class in how to listen? What do you do? Just sort of sit there? And they taught me that most of our communication is not in the words that we say, but in the feelings that are beneath the words. So the message is often not in the words, but is what is beneath them. And I ran home and I told that to my wife. She says, "Do you know that it's possible to say a sentence and every word in it means the opposite of what the message is?" She looked at me and said, "Yeah, right." The next class was even more exciting. They taught me Q-tip. What does that stand for? Quit taking it personally. Whenever I hear criticism, it's not about me, it's about a pain that the other person has. And they told the story of Androcles and the lion. Do you remember that? Androcles is walking through the forest, and he comes upon this lion who's roaring with rage. And he's so scared, but he can't outrun a lion. And then he notices that stuck in the lion's paw is this giant thorn. And he's able to creep up to the lion and take that thorn out of the paw. And the lion was so grateful that years later, the lion saved his life. Hearing the pain is like taking the thorn out of the paw. And so, the final lesson was when I hear criticism, don't take the blame, hear the pain. Don't take the blame, hear the pain. And so I was able to say, "You never take me anywhere." What is the pain? What is the pain? You want to spend more quality time together. Yeah, right. So you find that hard to accept that that might be changing. Yeah. But she softened. I said, well, I'll just have to show you then. I've made reservations in our favorite restaurant, and we're going to a movie afterwards. My neck is forever grateful that I don't have to spend any more time on that darn couch. And so when you hear criticism, understand that it's not in the words, it's in the feelings beneath the words. When you hear blame, remember Q-tip. Quit taking it personally. Don't take the blame, hear the pain. And when you see that pain, like the thorn in the paw, and it goes back.